So this is Road Games. I just saw it again. We have an S on it. Yeah, Road Games. It's Road Games. We are talking Road Games, people. It's Stacy Keach. It's Jamie Lee Curtis in a smaller role. Yeah, but they got her on the cover. I don't know if that's supposed to kind of look like a bit like Jamie Lee, but you never know. Maybe it's just in my head. But yeah, it's Stacy Keach and Jamie Lee and Curtis, of course. And it is directed by Richard Franklin. Richard Franklin was, he's passed away now, but God rest his soul. But he was a real proper dude, a real proper Aussie, Australian. Do you call it Aussie or Australian? I don't know. But he was from Australia, and this is shot in Australia. And in 81, and we are talking in 81, Australia didn't really had a movie industry, really. They made movie, but not in big time like in Hollywood. But this is a movie that's done in the genre of Hitchcock and whodunit. It's not like a slasher movie, and I remember when I saw it when it was new on VHS and I rented it, I kind of got a little bummed over it because the cassette promised me a slasher movie, and at that point as a young teenager I wasn't all keen on Hitchcock-ish movie like that. Thrillers wasn't big. I liked them, but it wasn't my favorite, and I was expecting more of a I don't know what I expected at this point, just a slasher movie, because at this point I was big fan of Halloween and Friday the 13th and stuff like that, you know, the usual suspects. Where we start, and it was back in the day when those movies were new. I always thought and about that time period of me being lucky, being a teenager, just when the 80s started, you know. That's pretty awesome. So anywho, I kind of forgot it, but then 2020, 21, I don't know. I just discovered this release recently. It came back on Blu-ray, you know, and these days they are fucking restoring it like nobody's business in 6K and whatnot. And this is beautiful. You get, even the cover inside the case is beautiful, you know, like I would have been happy with this. I really dig the Blu-ray covers when they go all up. That's finally a Blu-ray cover looks cool. You got a book, you got Richard, yeah, Dicky boy. You got 80 pages of, I don't know, a lot of stuff. You can actually, Stacy Keach, cool photos, of course. You got some more cool photos. Oh, you got a cool photo of Jamie Lee. Jamie Lee plays a young woman who has left home for a period and comes from a political family, a successful family. She's funny enough being called Hitch in it, and as you can see, the director is a big Hitchcockian. Hitchcockian? Did you say that? I don't know, but Hitchcock aficionado, you know. He did some I don't know, Q&A with Hitchcock on a stage when he was young or something like that. Well, we got some brilliant pictures from the movie. That's actually pretty cool. So there's a lot of cool stuff in this movie. It is built up in the same vein as Hitchcock would do. It's like very, like storyboarded to be very suspenseful, where it's supposed to zoom in and zoom out. And Richard was a director in that manner. His first movie that people are still talking about, you can call it, yeah. That was, was it Franklin or something? Something about a guy in a bed, a psychic guy. Pretty cool. I think it was called Franklin. If it's not Franklin, I will change it on the screen now. But and after this, he did the Psycho 2, and in my opinion, Psycho 2 might be the best sequel ever. Yeah, I can think of two that is up in that, and that's Evil Dead 2 and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. But yeah, but around there someplace, yes. You got a poster, you got a double-sided poster. I'm not trying to sell you this, I promise, but I will have to show you this because it's pretty damn cool. It's a double-sided poster. And yes, of course you get the original. We got the highway between I don't know what, City Woman. And this is, I think this looks more like a, this could be a original work. I don't know. I'm not sure. These days you're not sure because they're doing all sorts of posters that look like they're from, a certain period, and they just made them yesterday. That's the new shit, But yeah, the movie is built like a Hitchcock movie, or you can call it whodunit type genre movie. And the man not Hitchcock, but Stacy Keach is a truck driver, and he's working a bit too much, like all the truck drivers do. Drives around with dingo. Sounds familiar. It's is that a nod to the Mad Max movie? You don't know. We see there's one cop in this movie, highway cop, that I'm sure is in Mad Max. A bigger one, from a scene in Mad Max where you see two cops, and I think he has something. I don't know. He's rather tall, but if you see the movie, you can check it out. Is that the same cop as the tall one with the choppy cheeks from you see in Mad Max 1, who drives a car? I think it's in the beginning of the movie with a partner, and they flip over. But it is made in the same country, so it's possible. And he is at this point he was a friend with George Miller, and contacted him here and said, "What I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make a road movie. I don't know how to attack this. I love Hitchcock, and I want to do Hitchcock. I want to do what's it called? Rear Window. What's it called? The one where he's sitting and looking. I can't remember that title. Is it Rear Window? Is it Gregory Peck or something? With a leg in a cast, watching the neighbors. But yeah. Anywho, George said, just watch Ben-Hur. That was what he did. So we got some Ben-Hur action in this also. You see the carriage going into each other, and all shredding it, like in Grease, as does the Grease Lightning, So yeah, kudos to George Miller for helping out, and kudos to Ben-Hur for being the one who started that kind of shit. You know, we even got some flipping the carriage from Ben-Hur over. You know, a boat does that, or was it the boat? Something does that in this movie world. So you see, it's all connected. Yeah, kind of. But Richard Franklin was. I would go as far as to say I'm not gonna tell you what happens. I can, of course, tell you some more. He picks up Jamie Lee Curtis, who's on the run, and that's funny because she's just fresh out of The Fog, where she also plays a hitchhiker, and it's almost the same role. So yeah, you could say that that's the same girl. She's still running. I don't know. In my head, it is kind of, but he picks her up, and stuff is happening right from the get go before he picks her up, because that's you got to go half an hour into the movie before you see Jamie Lee Curtis, and so don't see it because you want to see some Jamie Lee Curtis action, but he picks her up at some point, and it's very cute. It's very they got a good chemistry between them. I was almost going also right there. Just heard it, but in Danish, that would be also. But yeah, it's so and if you've seen the Hitchhiker, you know, with Rutger Hauer, or is it The Hitcher? It's kind of like a movie like that, you know, like a road thriller, a road movie. It's in the road movie genre for sure. So, but it's also in the whodunit genre, because that's where you get another bag of potatoes in this, you know, movie. Where a movie like Mad Max goes full on the action, especially in part 2, and so on and so forth. You know, Thelma and Louise. That's another side. That's another side of a road movie genre, but still a road movie. I would say. I compare it to The Hitcher with Rutger Hauer. And what was the movie with the guy who played McCloud, Dennis Weaver, the Steven Spielberg debut, made for television, with a car? I can't remember. Maybe it's just called The Car. That would be typical Spielberg, you know, just Jaws. Maybe that came from the book, I think, but you know what I mean. Sometimes you just call it like what it is. Saving Private Ryan, you know? What's the movie about? Are you asking me that after that title? But yeah, Hook, you know? I can go on, but we don't need to. But this was a pleasant surprise to watch again. In short, I would say this was... I'm so happy I bought this, and the timing was right. I paid what would be the price of an ordinary new Blu-ray, you know, in the supermarket the day it comes out, and that is including the mail. So that's a pretty awesome buy. It's a beautiful transfer. It's like watching a Hitchcock movie, you know, on a 16-wheel truck with Stacy Keach driving it, playing a harmonica, and driving around with a dingo, or is it a dingo? Looking for what he think is a serial killer or a killer, and it's so fucking awesome. I would give in that genre, in that field of in that type of movie, I'm very close to giving this as high as it goes, because maybe we will shave one off and give it a 9 out of 10 in the road movie genre, because it has some a little, especially for example the last 2 seconds of the movie you should not even watch if you're watching this as the director will like you to watch it, because he was forced to put in a something else in the ending. At that point, movie producers were all about, and still are, you know, earning back the buck for the company. So every little you know, thing they could use for an extra kick, because would help them. And forget about, and if you're talking extra material, I'm not gonna go into that too much, because usually I won't be going. It's usually I'm talking the title and not the edition, but in this case I'm gonna, you know, like point out the edition also, because I think it's a pretty good tip right now if you're into 80s movies and cool 80s movies. This is something else. This is not a typical 80 movie. It's a 80 movie done with a big heart in the past, you know, a big heart for Hitchcock, the Hitchcock way of doing it. So if you're, I guess you can almost say, if you're interesting to watch, like it would be to see Hitchcock make a movie in 81 with these two characters, it would probably look like this pretty much. So in short, I can't recommend this enough. Not in the genre. In the road movie genre, this is sweet potatoes. Really. And Stacy Keach, he's just like fucking awesome. If you don't think Stacy Keach is awesome, I can't help you. He's just like a fucking proper dude. And Jamie Lee, you can say the same about Jamie Lee, but not dude. Woman, she is awesome. I've always been a big fan of Jamie Lee. I can't live without Freaky Friday and stuff like that. That's not my favorite Jamie Lee, but the horror Jamie Lee and the Knives Out Jamie Lee recently. And I can't wait to see Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends Jamie Lee. She's awesome. The Jamie Lee from the Trading Places, you know what I'm talking about. The Jamie Lee from True Lies, you know what I'm talking about. The Jamie Lee Curtis in overall, yes, she is marvelous, fantastic. And as I said, so is Stacy Keach. It's even a bit funny. There's some kind of humor in this also. It's not a comedy, but it has some comedic scenes in it, and they are quite funny. For example, there's a scene where he goes out to the bathroom, and he is sure that he's got the killer in the bathroom now, in the stall. And he's standing outside the stall shouting, Stacy Keach, about him coming out now and getting his ass kicked. Now he's in it. Now he's cornered up. And then the door opens, and it's another guy. It's not the right guy. And Stacy Keach's response to that, that's so funny. That is funny stuff. I'm sorry, man. It's like, you know. And you got some good stuff in it. It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. I'm not gonna spoil all the funny stuff in it, because it had me laughing several times, and it's also very very exciting. It is really thrilling. It holds up today, to also with the thriller part. It's kind of fresh. Many new movies still look like this. I would. You've seen this before. You've seen this lots of times. This kind of movie, you know. This is classic stuff. So yeah, very happy I just saw this again. Very, very happy. Fantastico, fenomenale. Road Games, 9 out of 10. It's almost a 10 out of 10. I actually feel, to be quite honest, and I always am, I actually feel pretty bad about not giving this a 10 out of 10. And I'm only giving it 9 out of 10 because I don't want people to think I'm giving everything 10 out of 10. But it deserves a 10 out of 10. It does. It really does. It's a beautiful little Hitchcockian movie. It looks like something Hitchcock could have done, but in 81, if he was younger. And for crying out loud, the guy a few years after this, the same director, Richard Franklin, you know, directed Psycho 2. Don't forget that. Enough said. It's beautiful. That's it for today, and yeah. See you next time on Movie Talk with the Uber Geek, or what we're gonna call it. It doesn't matter. We're just talking movies. That's the only thing that is important. See you on the next El Dorado.